Hi guys, this is Streamer Carlos. In today's video, I'm going to give you my review of Season 1 Episode 1 of The Dick Van Dyke Show. Now, before I begin, let me tell you a little bit about my connection or my personal history with The Dick Van Dyke Show. With the Dick Van Dyke Show. Okay, guys. As you may know, if not, I'm gonna give you a little bit. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Besides U.S. history, and besides doing YouTube, being your streamroller, I also love theater. I also love theater and U.S. history. I know that's a weird combination, but either way, besides U.S. history becoming my second home, meaning, what I mean by home is my second passion, my third passion, or my third love besides U.S. history and being your streamer, guys, is theater. And here's why. I have to thank two people for my love of theater. Mr. Fisher and Miss Malone, who were my theater teacher / directors in three of my plays. All three of them. Mr. Fisher was my main theater teacher for theater 1, theater 2, theater 3, and theater 4, and if there were 5, I think there's four types of theater, but anyway, Mr. Fisher was my main theater teacher. Now, Miss Malone was my secondary theater teacher. She handled all the tech in theater. The set building. She was the choreographer. She handled all the blocking, all the dance numbers, and she was a lot of fun. But if it wasn't for these two people, I wouldn't have had the chance to become your streamer in a way. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would love theater this much. Now, this is the real connection of why. This is the real connection. Besides, Mr. Fisher and Miss Malone, why they have been such an pivotal part, or have made such a pivotal impact in my life. Now, the Dick Van Dyke Show has one of my top acting mentors in it. The Dick Van Dyke Show. What I mean by that is, of course, the great Dick Van Dyke, which you guys may know as, well, Bert from Mary Poppins. You have seen it. Maybe you guys saw him. You guys saw him in Bye Bye Birdie and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Another great stuff. Another Diagnosis Murder, which is a great series, which I haven't watched, but before Dick Van Dyke became Bert. He had the Dick Van Dyke Show, and with this, the Dick Van Dyke Show has become a pivotal and fun and pivotal, and has made such an impact in my theatrical and theatrical part of my life, because again, it has one of my acting mentors. My second acting mentor would be Gene Kelly. And I hope to give you a review one of these days about Gene Kelly, one of his many movies that he did. But anyway, that's my connection. Now, this is going to be a test video. Yes, this is going to be a test video. So if you like this video, at the end of this video, you can put a like to it, and then we will go from there. If you guys like my review, of episode 1 of the Dick Van Dyke Show, I'll continue doing my reviews about the Dick Van Dyke Show, and all 5 seasons. If not, that's okay. I know that's not your. If not, that's okay, because I know some of you, the Dick Van Dyke show might not be your cup of Coca-Cola. So but anyway, here we go, guys, with my review of season 1, episode 1 of the Dick Van Dyke Show. The EMT cupcake, the EMT cupcake, and Mom Force. So here we go, guys. First, let's talk about the setting, the 1960s. To be more specific, New Rochelle, New York, where the main characters are Robert Petrie, who's played by Dick Van Dyke. Laura Petrie, who's played by Mary Tyler Moore, who's Robert Petrie's wife, or Dick Van Dyke's wife in the show. Then Richie Petrie, their son, and of course Sally Rogers and Buddy Sorrell. Robert's staff writers from the Alan Brady Show, which is like the Dick Van Dyke Show's version of SNL. Yes. So anyway, here we go. So in this first episode, we meet Robert and the gang, meaning Buddy and Sally. So in this episode, besides meeting the gang, we meet Laura. She's a housewife, which, by the way, has a historical context. Back in the 1960s, you didn't see a lot of women out and working like we see today. You would see in the 1960s women stay at home. Meanwhile, their husbands worked outside, worked in an office. In this case, on a sketch show. But anyway, in this first episode, Richie gets kind of sick, but not really sick, when he plays with one of his school friends, and he doesn't want to eat. he doesn't want to snack on a chocolate cupcake. Laura gets worried because normally Richie would eat this cupcake or any type of cupcake for a snack normally and wouldn't turn it down. So Laura gets concerned and says, let me call the doctor, Richie, so he could come and look at you, or look at you by phone, or diagnose you by phone. And the doctor says to Laura, it's probably nothing, but just in case, keep an eye on it. Now, as this was happening, as this was going on, Robert and the gang, meaning Sally and Buddy were invited to a high class party from Alan Brady, who's played by the late great Carl Reiner, who was the creator of this one wonderful show. But anyway, Rob and the gang are invited to entertain at the party by the show's producer, Mel Cooley, who is married to Alan Brady's sister, meaning they're both brother-in-laws. And this is an occurring funny fight throughout all 5 seasons of this show. Buddy and Mel have a wonderful, funny love-hate relationship. They love to mess with each other. But anyway, Rob comes home all happy and all probably getting hyped up about the party when Laura tells him that Richie might be sick. Might be sick. And that the doctor told her to keep an eye on him by face to face and to tell me or to tell him by phone his symptoms. And Laura doesn't know how to exactly explain how she surmised that Richie is sick, and basically Laura says to Rob, honey, because Richie didn't snack on a chocolate cupcake. A chocolate cupcake. And of course, Rob says, oh no, let's call an ambulance. So, sarcastically, of course. So Robert takes the matter into his own hands and says to Laura, maybe he was not feeling today eating a chocolate cupcake. Maybe today his snack palate wants vanilla. So Rob goes to Richie's room and sees that Richie is laying in bed, and says, hi Richie, I heard that you were kind of sick. but don't you want a vanilla cupcake with sprinkles on it? And Richie's like, yeah, but 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 I like chocolate. Then Rob is like to Laura, the cupcake test is sometimes comes up with with inconclusive results. So with that, guys, Laura and Rob get into a little word fight that ends up with Laura kind of giving Rob a sealed chair shot of guilt to his face. But none the matter. None the matter. At the end of this funny argument, Laura relents. Laura says, "Okay, I'll blind this because this invitation is not only for Rob but for Laura too." And Laura's like to Rob, Alan just wants you there to entertain. That's it. He doesn't want you to mingle around with his high-powered friends. But anyway, Laura obliges. So she calls Jenny, their next door neighbor's daughter slash babysitter. And Laura, when Jenny gets there, and before leaving to Alan's high class party, Laura can't stop stalling, can't stop stalling talk, stalling chat with Jenny about everything that Richie will need. If you need to call this number and all that kind of stuff. And then Rob is like, Laura, George Washington said farewell to the troops very fast, and then he went home. If you don't stop stalling, honey, I'll pick you up myself and put you in the car. So after stalling again, Rob did just that. Picked up Laura like he said he would, and they went to Alan's party. But as soon as they got to Alan's party, Laura was checking her watch, and basically wondering when can we go? When can we go back home and relieve Jenny from her duties? And then of course Sally and Mel and Buddy were like to Rob, why are you guys leaving so early? Then Rob is like, because Richie thinks he's sick. But with a little bit of persuasion from Sally and of course Mel and Buddy, Rob and Laura stay for a little bit, for an impromptu performance by all three of them, which at the end had the party guests, including themselves, laughing. And before you know it, Laura and Rob had come back home. When Laura and Rob see a doctor's bag, and the doctor, and of course Laura's like to Jenny's mom and dad, where's Richie? And they say he's in his bed. He's in his bedroom. He's fine. And of course, the doctor's bag was like, Laura was assuming the worst, but she was kind of assuming in the right way, but assuming the worst at the same time. But it wasn't for Richie. The doctor didn't come for Richie. He came for Janie, because Janie hit her head really, really hard on the fridge. And with that, guys, Rob was like to Laura, you and your mom force. Meaning, in un-Star Wars terms, you and your woman's intuition. And then Laura was like, yes, honey, I was right. My woman's intuition was right, because I'm a woman. And with that, guys, Rob was like, yeah, you are. So with that being said, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button now if you want to. Now, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Now, if you want to expand your time here on my channel, don't doubt and subscribe to, and hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, until we Van Dyke again, bye.